Hello, my name is Jake. Now let's talk music. So, one thing that I've been thinking about for a while, what if for my channel, what if I did a series about going to different artists' discographies and listening to everything? That means albums, mixtapes, not all mixtapes. I'm talking about the ones on streaming platforms. So everything album wise on streaming platforms, mixtapes on streaming platforms, and collab albums on streaming platforms. So I would go through all of those, listen to them, tell what I thought about each single album, and at the end I could show a tier list. Well, that's what this video is about today. So, the first person I decided to do is Drake. Now, you must be thinking, you haven't listened to every Drake album? No. I've only listened to two Drake albums ever. And I got halfway through one and I got bored with it. But that was back before I truly appreciated music. I was just listening to music because I was like, oh, this will be fun. But now I've gotten to where I really enjoy listening to music. Like every single thing, different artists, different genres, everything. So, yeah, the first artist I'll be doing is Drake, which this series isn't going to be just for rap, but that's the main part of my channel is rap music, going over rap music. And eventually I want to go into different genres. One that I'm thinking about doing is pop. I was thinking about doing the Michael Jackson, like his whole discography. All right, so this this video is gonna be into like different segments because I'm gonna listen to an album and then I'm gonna give what I think about the album. And the last clip that you just seen was from Friday last week. This clip is Monday. I actually just got out of classes, and in between classes, I listened to his first, uh, well, it's not his first album, it's his mixtape, So Far Gone. So, yeah, let's talk about So Far Gone. With So Far Gone, I feel like the problem is it just felt disjointed. It didn't feel like, well, a complete album, which that wasn't what it was going for. It was going for, all right, here's a little bit of what I can do musically. That's the purpose of a mixtape. So with this mixtape, it feel like if it was polished and some of the production was better, it could end up being an album instead of a mixtape, but it just didn't feel cohesive. And there's points where you have one song blending into another, but then you have just songs that are sound totally different that are back to back, and it's just messy. It's just like, okay, I made these two songs this certain day. I'm gonna put this on my mixtape, and then you have, oh, I was feeling this way on this day, but I think it will still sound good on my mixtape. Which it still has great quality songs, but compared to what he does in the future, it's just nowhere near Drake. I had a what I'm gonna do for these albums, I'm gonna talk about at least three songs that I liked off of the album, which I have three for this album, but I don't know if some of the upcoming albums I can find three, but I'm gonna aim for three. First song that I wanna talk about is Successful. I think Here's my opinion on Successful. Drake got carried, but those carries are so good that it has to be in my top three. Lil Wayne puts an amazing performance going. He just sounds great on the beat and he has great lyrics. And then also on Successful, you have Trey Songz, who his vocals just sound amazing on the hook. And that's really why I like Successful is Lil Wayne and Trey Songz. I it's just Drake's part wasn't anything big. It was kind of boring. Next one I have Ignite Shit, which same thing as before. It was the feature that carried, but Drake did better this time. He actually put in a good rap performance, but he gets carried by Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is all over this album, and that's one thing I want to talk about. He honestly puts in a better effort than Drake on the songs that he's a part of. Just every single song he's on, he carries. So yeah, I just feel like Lil Wayne outperformed Drake on his own mixtape. And then last one, this is my best song off of the album, and honestly, it's an amazing song by Drake. It's Best I Ever Had, which I have a story with this song. So it was senior prom, and I was staying with a couple of friends that night. We were all going together. Um, and when we got into the car to head towards Buca de Beppo, which is where we ate at for before the prom, we're like listening to Zach Bryan, and then I just hear the start of this song come on. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And then when it beat switches and it goes into Drake, like he was just talking in the beginning, but then he starts rapping, and then his vocals are amazing on this song. So yeah, to me, Best I Ever Had was the best song on this album. And next up, I'm listening to Thank Me Later, which I already started, and so far it's a lot better, more cohesive. All right, I just got finished listening to Thank Me Later, and let me just say this: Drake's cooking. This album is so much better than that mixtape. It actually feels cohesive, and yeah, everything just comes together, and it's great sounding music. He does both his rapping and singing all over this. And if I had to say like where I would rate it, I forget if I said what I would rate So Far Gone. So I'm gonna say that right now. I would put it like I'm gonna show a tier list of all the albums on it at the end of this video. I would put it in D tier. It isn't F, but it's still not good. With Thank Me Later, I would probably put it B tier because from what I've heard, like singular songs off of albums, not full albums, I've heard better work from him, but this is still a great album. Um, I would have to say my songs that stood out to me. There's gonna be four for this one. Number one is the obvious one, Over. Everyone knows Over. It's one of his biggest hits. And it's a hit for a reason. It's a great song. Number two, I would say Fireworks. The way he opened the album, his verses were amazing, but Alicia Keys' vocals on the hook was so good. It was so good. Number three, I'm probably gonna have to go Light Up with Jay-Z. That song, I like Drake's part, but the most important part of that song to me after the whole thing that went down this summer between Drake and Kendrick, it kind of just Jay Z knew what was gonna happen. People were gonna start dissing Drake and start rap beefs with him, which even before this one with Kendrick, back in that time, I remember when he was working on Views, him and Pusha T got into a rap beef, which before finishing Views, he actually released a single back to back, which at the very end you hear him say back to Views, which that's coming up soon. But yeah, overall it's a good song, and also I like it because of what went down this summer. And my fourth song, I would have to say Thank Me Now, because both the rap performance and you can tell that that Drake is starting to become more confident in his raps. Like it wasn't just, oh, I'm gonna put out this verse for this song. He's like, yeah, I know the name of the album is Thank Me Later, but you can thank me now because I already know this album is amazing, and yeah, just give me my flowers now. But I'm still gonna continue to be amazing. Which, speaking of, we're going to Take Care next. I might get it done today. I did the same day as the last segment. I might get it done today because right now I'm just sitting here gaming and I love to listen to music while I'm gaming. So it's either gonna be today or tomorrow that I'll record this segment. So see you then. All right. This is gonna be one long segment. I'm trying to be quieter because it's Tuesday morning. What I did last night is I listened to several albums without doing like rankings and everything, like doing the video here, but I kept track of what songs were like in my top three and what I thought about the albums. So we're gonna start off with Take Care. Um, I will say it's a great album, but a lot of people say it's Drake's best. To me, so far it's the best album I've heard, but I feel like he can do better. I feel like going on down the line, I have high hopes for Views. I haven't listened to that yet, but I feel like Views will be really good. So I would put uh Take Care in A. It's like high A, close to low S, but I would say there's a couple of songs that hold it back from getting S. And when I think of some of my favorite songs from Take Care, obviously Headlines. Uh, I like Lord Knows. The Rick Ross feature is amazing. I like The Real Her because Lil Wayne's verse is amazing. And Drake does the same also, but I mostly like it for Wayne's verse. Also, uh, Andre 3000 does good on it also. Um, and I want to say a fourth one, Doing It Wrong. I think Drake's vocals on that are so good, really good. All right, next up is Nothing Was the Same. Another one that is like regarded as one of Drake's best albums. I feel like I've heard better from him from the two albums that I listened to before even doing this. I do have bias to those because those are my two first albums that I listened to by Drake. But even when I think back to those two, I think, Nothing Was the Same. It has some great hits, but it's not as complete as those two albums. So I would put Nothing Was the Same. It's like a high B, low A tier to me. So I put it at the top of B. I think it's better than Thank Me Later. Definitely better than Thank Me Later. Um, some of my top songs, obviously started from the bottom. Uh, Hold On, We're Coming Home. I love Pound Cake slash Paris Morning Music too. From Time with Jay-Z. There's just no, not it doesn't have Jay-Z. Who's on From Time? I gotta look that up. Jay-Z's on Pound Cake, not From Time. Uh oh, G and Ico. I think that's how you say your name. Listen, I did this. I listened to all of them last night. I get some of them mixed up, but doing it wrong. No, not doing it wrong. From Time, Jean Aiko has an amazing performance on that. Her vocals are beautiful on that. That's really the reason why I put it there. It was just great. Um, yeah. Up next, his second mixtape. If you're reading this, it's too late. I will say I'm gonna have some bias here because this was the very first Drake album I ever listened to. Well, Drake project I ever listened to. And to me, it's from what I've heard so far, it's his best project. It's the most cohesive, and it has some of his best songs to me. I I put in as it's my favorite album, well, favorite project by Drake. I have five top songs. Obviously, Six God, Aaron G, 6 p.m. in New York, Jungle, and Legend. Those five are some of his best songs ever. It's just a legendary album by him. Well, legendary project by him. Honestly, I'm just trying to learn why he made it a mixtape and not an album because it's cohesive enough to be an album. And honestly, I feel like it would be better if it was an album, not just a mixtape. I don't know. I love the project. It's my favorite Drake project. Okay, next up, What a Time to Be Alive. I will say this is the second album that I had listened to him like before doing this. So I already have some bias because I've already heard it multiple times. I would say What a Time to Be Alive. It's it's great, but also when I think of other collab albums, it could have been better. Now, that's nothing against it. They have some amazing songs on there. I have four top songs. Um, but when I look at Watch the Throne or later on in Future's catalog, We Don't Trust You. Those are just better collab albums, in my opinion. Even Alfredo, Run the Jewels, like there's just collab albums that are better than this, but it's still a great collab album. I would put it in lower A tier. Like I would say Take Care is better than it. Uh, so it's Take Care and then What a Time to Be Alive. My top four songs for it, I would say Scholarships. I just love Future's part on that song on the hook. It it just it sounds so dark, yet it just sounds good. I just love the way it sounds. Obviously Jumpman, obviously Big Rings. Also the opener Digital Dash. That's also pretty good. All right, so right now I'm got about an hour until I have to be in class. I'll probably listen to a little bit of views. I've seen that it's like an hour and 20 minutes, so probably what I'll do is record what I think about it when I get back to my dorm after my classes. So I'll see you then. Alright, so it's the same day, got done with all my classes. I listened to all of Views, and let me just say, Views, best Drake album I've ever heard. Oh my god, it's so good. Just his vocals, his rapping performance, all across it. It's his best album I've heard, best project I've heard. I would say it's better than If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. Even though I have a personal connection with that album, Views is just that good. I I had a problem of trying to narrow down three songs. Then I was like, okay, I'll add a fourth. I'll add a fifth. I'll add a sixth. I have seven songs that I'm gonna be like giving praises to. Seven songs on a 20 song album. So these are the top songs. These aren't just the songs that I liked and like put onto my playlist, but these are the top seven. And I just felt like I couldn't make a list of the songs I have to talk about on this album without putting all seven on. So number one, obviously, One Dance. Two, Feel No Ways. Beautiful song. Beautiful. Nine, I mean, number three is Nine. Also a great song. Four, Controlla. Five, Keep the Family Close. Just such a good way and show how raw and emotional he is on the very first song of this whole album. Just an amazing opening track and probably the best opening track on any of his albums. And then for six, I have Views. The rapping performance that he has on Views is it's amazing. Probably my favorite off the album. And then number seven, Too Good. Too Good isn't really all because of Drake. I mostly love Too Good because I love Rihanna. I'm a Rihanna fan. Uh, some of the people watching this went to the same high school as me. You remember junior year for the lip sync competition. It was the year after her Super Bowl performance, and we, me and a group of six people, we decided to recreate a portion of it doing her song "Work," which I I played Rihanna, which was kind of funny. But yeah, I love Rihanna. I'm a Rihanna fan, and I hope to do a discovering discography of Rihanna because I haven't listened to a single Rihanna album. I just have certain songs by Rihanna that I go back to and are on my playlist. And this one is going to get added to the playlist. So, yeah, that's what I think of Views. I would say this is my favorite both album project by Drake so far, and it's at the top S. So, next up, I think, is More Life. I'll do that segment next. All right. It's like 8:30 at night right now. I finished More Life and I just finished Scorpion. Um, okay, for More Life, what do I have to say about it? It it's an alright project. It's like the highs of the album are good, but the lows are they just kind of suck. And it just felt like too much like trying to experiment with his voice and also getting with people who do like UK rap. I think he does UK rap based off his voice, but he tries like changing his voice while on tracks with him, and it's just kind of annoying. I don't really like those tracks, but I have five songs that I really like off of it, but overall it's just an alright album, and I have it at the bottom of B tier. And it's kind of a letdown after listening to Views. Views was amazing, and it just felt like he wasn't trying as hard with this. But to the five songs I like, I would say Passion Fruit. It's just a vibe. Portland. I know it's one of the biggest songs off the album. It, I like it, but I feel like it gets overhyped. It gets old after a while. Next up, Do Not Disturb. I like that. Nothing's Into Somethings is the fourth one, and the fifth one is Free Smoke, the intro off of the album. Really good rapping performance by Drake there. And like I said, I already listened to Scorpion, just finished listening to it. It like the first half of it on Spotify it says this one and this two. This one I was like, okay, we're back to like views. This is good music. And then when I get to the second disc, it's like kind of sucks. It's just I don't know if he made like the two discs at different times. It kind of sounds like it. It doesn't. It's not a cohesive idea for an album, and it just kind of sucks. But there was there's like two songs I like off of the second disc, which is "Nice for What." It's a good song. He puts in a pretty good rap performance. And also March 14th, the outro. That's also pretty good. I think he was. I didn't do any research, but I think in that song he was talking about his son that was just born, and it was a pretty good song. And my favorite song off of the album is Nonstop. It's a hit for a reason. It's a great song. Honestly, overall, Scorpion just wasn't very impressive, and the second half was very lackluster. I would have to put it in C. Yeah, C tier. Uh, I've heard better from Drake, and even his first album was better than this. Thank Me Later. It's just like he wasn't trying on this. On the second half of this. Let me put that out. On the second half, it just felt like he wasn't trying. The first half was really good. Just put that on an album, that's probably high B, low A. Probably put it in high B if it was just the first half of the album, but the second half just sucked. Alright, next up I think is Care Package, which I'll probably listen to it tonight and give my review in the morning. So I'll see you whenever I do my review. Uh, Last night I finished listening to Care Package. It's the what time is it? It's almost 1:30 on Wednesday. I listened to Care Package. I listened to Dark Lane demo tapes, and I'm almost finished. I'm like halfway through Certified Lover Boy. So I'll talk about Care Package and Dark Lane demo tapes. Um, Care Package. It's better than what I thought it would be. Like, let me check what I did like the ranking of it last night on my phone. Oh, okay. Uh oh yeah. Okay. Care Package. For what? Like everyone's seen the Anthony Fantano where he was like Care Package, more like didn't Care Package. After hearing that, I went into this album thinking I was gonna hate it. I it's decent. I would I would say that how do I describe it? I would say it's overall like half of it's good, half of it isn't. Like yeah, I think that's the best way to say it. Like half of it's good, half of it's like what are you doing? It's honestly the definition of mid. But the good songs help carry it above mid. So like I have four different songs, and these songs to me are really good, and they carry the album. I would say it's at the top of B tier. Right now in B tier, oh, speaking of B tier, before I had Nothing Was the Same at the top of B. After listening to a couple of albums and I really thought about Nothing Was the Same, I decided to move it up to the bottom of A tier. I think I was too hard on it because I came in with a higher expectation because everyone says it's like his second best album, only behind Take Care. So yeah, I moved it up to the bottom of A because I judged it too quickly. But this I have the at the top of B tier. Behind it is Thank Me Later and More Life. I feel like Care Package is better than Scorpion and uh More Life. Honestly, Scorpion just I don't know what he was doing with that man. Like the first half you have such a great album. The second half it fucking sucked. I don't know. I'm gonna quit complaining about Scorpion because this segment is not about Scorpion. Um, so yeah, Care Package, it's like mid, but the good songs on it carry it up to high B. I wouldn't think it would get close to A tier. It's not a A tier album. Um, okay, the four songs that I like the best off of it, The Motion. It was the only song before listening to the album that I had listened to before, and I just like Drake's vocals, really. Jodeci Freestyle, J. Cole did his thing on that. I, J. Cole did his thing. Number three, 5 a.m. in Toronto. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a big fan of the like time and place tracks. That's the best way I can explain them because it has a time and it's like in or at or whatever. So yeah, I would say 5 a.m. in Toronto. And I feel like the only one that I haven't liked that's like that is 4 p.m. in Calabasas, which is on this album. It just felt like, why would you put that on? And then the very next song, just honestly, in my opinion, the best song off of that album is 5 a.m. in Toronto, then Jodeci Freestyle. And number four, the opening track, Dreams Money Can Buy. He has a great rap performance on there. I did really like the intro part of it. It was kind of weird, but like when I'm thinking of it musically, the actual music that he's rapping is good. All right, next up, Dark Lane demo tapes. Uh I I actually forgot. Oh wait, no, I did rank it. Okay, I actually listened to Dark Lane demo tapes this morning. I don't know. It's just like there's some good tracks, but then there's like tracks like what are you doing? Like it especially the outro track. He tries to rap in like accent, like a British accent. And it's stupid. Like you could have had a great album here, but you decided to do some of the most weird shit I've ever seen. You just ruined the album by doing that. It's at the bottom of C. I think Scorpion's better than it, most definitely. But I feel like there's more enjoyable songs on this than So Far Gone. So Far Gone is the only album in D tier, and I ain't gonna lie, there's probably gonna be another album joining it in D tier. I actually forget if I actually said all the tiers. I mean, I just did S, A, B, C, D, and F. I see some with E, and I'm like, get rid of E. It's stupid. Honestly, if it's bad enough to go to F, then there's a problem. I I think I've only listened to one F album in my whole life, and it. I'm not even going to talk about that album. It's just horrible. Um, God, where was I at? Darkly and Demo Tapes. Yeah, it's bottom of C, close to D, but I say the good tracks carry it enough to where it isn't. Which I only had three top tracks. Chicago Freestyle, obviously. I love Desires featuring Future. Drake and Future do their thing. It's a great song. And number three, Not You Too with Chris Brown. I I love Chris Brown's vocals, so most of the time I like his songs. But yeah, I'm gonna finish Certified Lover Boy, and then I'll do that segment next. Um, from what I'm hearing so far, is some heat, but I'm gonna finish the album before I say too much. All right, I just gotta finish listening to Certified Lover Boy. Bro, I don't know what Drake was on, but he cooked with this one. I, I know a lot of people hate this album, but bro, this shit is amazing. I I even hated on it. I thought, bro, Certified Lover Boy, look at the cover. It's just gonna suck, bro. This album was amazing. I honestly, I only have two songs that I didn't add to my playlist. Two songs. Like, maybe it's because it's just first listen, but based off of what I like to listen to, both the sounds and the lyrics, I was this is Drake's best album. And I don't think with these next three, from what I've heard from other people, he's gonna touch that. Like get back to S. This this is his best album, best project, best everything from what I've heard. Like I my opinion might change as I listen to it more and more, but off of first listen, I see why people call Drake the GOAT. Now he's not my GOAT, but before anyone say that, he is not my GOAT. My GOAT will always be Kanye. I, Kanye is best rapper, best artist, best producer of all time. I don't care what anyone says. I I love Kanye, but Drake, I ain't gonna lie, he he's been cooking. Uh, I I have eight top songs, but honestly, it's easier to just say the two songs that I don't like. But I'm gonna do both. Now, one thing I do want to say, I think "Way Too Sexy" gets too much hate. It's not on my top songs, but for people to say it's like one of Drake's worst songs, that's horrible. I get the lyrics are not great, but it's just a fun song to listen to. Like it sounds good, and I love Young Thug's verse. I also love Future's verse. Drake kind of got carried by those two, but still his verse wasn't bad sounding. It I get because of both the sample and like the lyrics that are in it. I I still love the way that it sounds. It's like a fun song to just vibe to, especially with the beat. The beat is probably the best part of this song, even with the sample. But yeah, I just think it's overhated. The two songs that aren't on my playlist, Poppy's Home. It, okay, here's my thing with Poppy's Home. I listened to it walking to campus this morning. Bro, the opportunity he had with this song is it's insane. But the beginning, the hook, and whatever Nicki Minaj was doing on this, like she isn't credited with a feature because she didn't rap at all, but it sounds like a voice call that they recorded and decided, you know what, let's put this on this song. It is so bad. She's like, ah, like, shut up. I don't want to hear that. And the whole intro is just it was annoying. Um, but the actual verses, they actually were good. If if he takes out Nicki Minaj's part, the whole intro part, and he writes a better uh hook, it could actually be a alright song. It he just messed up on this. And then my other one is fucking fans. After the whole Kendrick beef and everything that came out, and also the whole Millie Bobby Brown situation when she was under 18, listening to that song, I was like, oh, hell no. He's like talking about fucking random people, fucking his fans. It's like, what are you doing? What made you think that this was an okay song? I mean, I feel like Drake, he could have like all A, B, or S albums, but he just does stuff to ruin each album for the listeners. No, he did that less at the start of his career. Like his first three albums, he did stuff that was good and not really bad like this. It's just recently, over the past couple of albums, he starts doing stuff that kind of ruins the listening experience of these albums. But overall, it's still his best album, even with those things. My top songs, uh, Fair Trade. I I just love that song. It's my favorite song off of that album. But all together, this whole album is amazing. Has amazing songs. Number two, Knife Talk. That's obvious. Number three, In Too Deep. I think that's the one with Future. Yeah, that's the song with Future. That shit was amazing. That was amazing. Four, Champagne Poetry. That was the opener. That was also amazing. I'm like, I have like a list of all the songs that I said, but I got like my whole playlist up. Well, not playlist, the whole album up. Like you can see how many likes are on there. And these just aren't like songs, they're also on playlists. I already added them to. Um yeah. Okay, where was I at? Number five, In the Bible, great song. Number six, Fountains. I think that's the one with Thames. That was amazing. Uh yeah, that's the one with Thames. Great song. Number seven, Race My Mind. That song, I was listening to it like after I did the last segment. Oh my god, that is amazing. Number eight, 7 a.m. on a Brittle Path is amazing. Like all these songs are amazing songs and some of Drake's best songs. One that I'm gonna talk about that I didn't put on here, but I feel like I should have. No Friends in the Industry, another great song. So I would say I have 9 top songs, and that's not including the other songs that I like from it. Like I said, I have a lot of likes across this album. I even I'll say this. I did the whole thing with Way Too Sexy. I like Girls Want Girls. I get the hook is stupid, where it's like, oh girl, you a lesbian, I'm a lesbian too. No, it's like something like that. It's stupid, but the actual verses by him and Lil Baby actually sound really good. There's a reason I didn't put it as one of the top songs. It's because of the whole hook. It's just weird. Um, all right. Next up is Honestly Nevermind, and I am not excited for this album. From what I've heard from other people, this is his worst album. But then again, people talk shit about Certified Lover Boy, and I loved it. I'd still say that Donda is better. Uh, It like released same weekend as Donda, and it also Donda, but Donda is better. Okay, let me just say, the way I listen to Donda is better. All right, because with all the part twos, you can just cut that shit out, bro. That isn't necessary. Also, at the last song that isn't a part two, I cue Life of the Party. I love Life of the Party. Okay, why am I talking about Kanye right now? Okay, next up is Honestly Nevermind. I'm probably gonna listen to that right now. I'll tell you what I think about it after. Alright, I just got done listening to Honestly Nevermind. It was horrible. It's the worst album that I've listened to by Drake, and one of the worst albums I've ever listened to. It has one redeeming quality, which is Jimmy Cooks. If it wasn't for that, it is. I still have it in F tier. This is this is the like second time I've ever heard an F album, and it just sucks. It just feels like a slap in the face to all the Drake fans. After listening to like most of his discography, I'm starting to see why there's a lot of Drake fans, but it was a slap in the face to Drake fans. It was. It was bad. Um, just like sold out for the clubs, it feels like on this, instead of making something that his fans would actually want to listen to. It just sucks. Hopefully her loss is better, but it, it just sucked. Today is Thursday morning. Last night I finished the last 3 projects, and first off is Her Loss. Um, with Her Loss, it is a good album. I mean, it's not the best collab album that Drake has done. What a Time to Be Alive is definitely better, and honestly, he gets carried by 21 Savage. But it's still a good album. I put it like in the middle of B. Right now, my B, like all my albums in B tier. It This is in order. Care Package, Thank Me Later, Her Loss, and then More Life. Yeah. Um, and it's just an alright album. Nothing special about it. It's, it's just a collab album. Um, I have 4 songs that I wanted to talk about. Hours in Silence, Broke Boys, Obviously, Rich Flex. I know there's the whole meme of it and everything, but it's still a good song. And my favorite off the track list is 3 a.m. in Glenwood. It's not, Drake isn't even on the song. Like I said, 21 Savage carried the project. But next up, we have For All the Dogs. It, like, I had talked about this before on one of the past segments. Drake just be doing stuff to ruin his albums. Like, on some of these songs, I really like it, and then he puts something on there that is like, dude, I was thinking about adding it as a like, but now it's just like, what are you doing? Like on Daylight, I'm not gonna shit talk a kid on his rapping performance, but why are you putting that on the end of an actually good song? I was gonna add it to my playlist, and then fucking Here Comes Adonis, and I'm like, dude, that shit's ass. Like, why are you putting that on there? Like I said, I'm not trying to shit talk a kid. Of course, they're not gonna be good at rapping, but it was Drake's decision to add that, and it's just cringe. Another one, Calling for You. I I don't really like the Drake verse on it, but 21 Savage's verse on it is actually really good. But in the middle, you have that whole thing with the girl, and she's complaining about being on a whack vacation and talking about eating oxtail. Like, bro, why are you adding that to your album? Just get rid of that. It's stupid. But I have it in C tier. I'll go over all of C tier in a minute because the next project is also in C tier. But my top songs for All the Dogs, I do have four, and one of them is my favorite Drake song. Number one, I have Virginia Beach. That's a great opener. Number two, I don't give a fuck. It's one of the top songs off of the album. First person shooter, another one. That started the whole Kendrick beef, but J. Cole carried on that song. And I'm recording this after Kendrick was put on as the Super Bowl halftime show, like he's doing that. And one of the funniest lines to listen to on that song is Drake saying big as the Super Bowl. But allegedly, according to like one of his inside people, he declined to perform at the Super Bowl 4 different times. I think that's bullshit, but whatever. And then my favorite Drake song that I've ever listened to, 8 a.m. in Charlotte. That song is so good. There's actually a remix I heard of it. It's like the same beat. It I have it saved on Instagram. I forget who's saying it, but it that's also fire. But yeah, 8 a.m. in Charlotte is definitely his best song to me. It's his best rap performance, and also the beat is amazing. The sample is amazing. It for kind of a crappy album. I mean, C tier isn't good, but yeah, for kind of a crappy album, that's that's an amazing song. And like I said, it's my favorite song by him. Um, Up next we have Scary Hours. I put it as Scary Hours 3 because it's the third one. I'm not doing the other Scary Hours because one, I couldn't even find Scary Hours the first one. I found the second one and it only has like 2 songs on it. But this has 6 songs, which is like an EP and like rap, heck, even musically. So I'll count it. Um, I put it in C tier, like I said earlier. Nothing impressive about it. It's just 6 songs, but it has one pretty good song, which is Evil Ways. That's the only top song I have for it because, like I said, there's only 6 songs and it's not that impressive. I feel like if he expanded on this, he could make it another album, just make better music to put on it. Only reason I really like Evil Ways is because of the J. Cole feature. Drake doesn't do anything impressive on it. But I did have to say at least one song for it, and J. Cole does his thing. So yeah, that I've listened to all the albums, all the EPs, all the projects, all the mixtapes, everything. I'll probably do an outro bit like saying what I think about Drake as an artist and his music. But yeah, until then, see ya. After this, I just want to start off this segment saying this video took over a week, and I'm hoping I release it on Friday. I think I will, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to edit some things, but I think I'm gonna keep it in the long form. Y'all can tell me what you think about a long form video like this. If I get like bad reviews for it, I'll shorten it down. But with this, I was just trying to give my true opinion on everything I thought about Drake and all of the projects. So even though it's an hour long video, I'm giving you a lot of information on how I feel about the project. If, if y'all don't like that, then fine. I'll change how I do it in future videos, but for right now, I like the way it is because it feels more personal to me. That being said, what do I think about Drake? I think I get why people say he's like the GOAT, but he's not my GOAT. I've said this earlier. Kanye's my GOAT forever and always. I don't care if people say I'm glazing. I love Kanye. Uh, But anyways, I see why people say he's the GOAT. He has amazing music, but some across a lot of his albums, he does things that ruin the listening experience for me. Like, a lot of these albums could have been ranked higher than what they were if he didn't do stupid crap in the albums. Like, even with my favorite, like, project by him, Certified Lover Boy, there's still those two horrible songs. But overall, he's a great artist. There's no denying that. I mean, he started, I don't know when his first mixtape was released. Let me look that up. Been rapping since 2009, probably earlier than that, but obviously he's going to be seen as one of the goats when you're going as long as that and still making good music. Except for Honestly Nevermind. Honestly Nevermind. It's, it felt like an afterthought and it just wasn't good. Except for Jimmy Cooks. Jimmy Cooks will forever and always be on my playlist. It's an amazing song, but the rest of that album is trash. Um, I would say even after the whole Drake and Kendrick beef unfolding, if I had listened to his music beforehand, I would still be a fan even after hearing all the things that came out because he has great music. I mean, I'm a Kanye fan. Some of the things he said is outrageous, but I still stand behind his music. I don't agree with what he says as a person or what he does as a person, but musically, he's still my GOAT. So I see why Drake fans were still behind him because they love his music. And I'm probably gonna put a lot more Drake into my rotation after this, but for like a week or so, I'm not gonna listen to any more Drake, bro. It's just when you do a video like this and all you're listening to is the same exact person day in and day out, and then you try and listen to more of them, no. You gotta just switch up what's going on in your playlist. You gotta take out those songs for right now because you just get tired of hearing the same person over and over and over. But I hope to make more videos like this. But I think the next one I'll do is going to be a shorter discography so I can get the video out sooner because this took forever to get done. It's a lot of work. It's not just sitting here doing like what I think about each of them. You have to sit through all of the music, which I don't know how many hours it takes to get done with all of his albums and projects, but it took me a week just to get this all done. So, if you haven't yet, like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of my videos. I already have the next idea for my next video. It should be out much quicker than this, but I still gotta do all the recording and listening that I need to do for it. But I should have it out by this weekend. Alright, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.